Welcome and congratulations to our soon-to-be graduates, along with their friends and families, some next to us in the football stadium and some online all over the world at all hours of the day. I'm Bill Bolding. I'm the Dean of the Fuqua School of Business at Duke University, and it is my enormous privilege to be a part of this community. In my opinion, it's always a great day to be a member of the Fuqua community, but today is an extraordinary day because today we celebrate the remarkable achievements of our Master of Management Studies and Master of Quantitative Management students from 2021. Soon to be graduates, today is your day. The spotlight deservedly is on you. But first, let's thank the people who got you to this momentous occasion. So first, the family and friends, both here and elsewhere around the world, who supported you and put you in this position to succeed. Let's give them all a great round of thanks. Second, I'd like to thank the faculty and staff who put so much effort into joining you on this journey, which has been, shall we say, complicated, and especially to those staff who've managed to put together this day in the face of what appeared to be surmountable odds in order to be able to celebrate as we should at this moment. But please thank the faculty and staff who helped get you here. And now, mainly for the benefit of people who are watching either in the football stadium or online, I want to talk a little bit about the complicated logistics of what we're doing today. We will start with recognizing our Master of Management Studies graduates, and then we will flip to our Master of Quantitative Management students. And in fact, we literally will flip from the floor to the upper level of Cameron Indoor Stadium to make that happen. But importantly, what you should realize is the graduation is not done until I finish with remarks at the end. So please wait for all students to be recognized in both programs before we complete the ceremony and begin the celebration. There's some complicated things in terms of the way this will work. So first of all, you'll notice that my mask is off. So the university, in a last-minute reprieve, gave permission to all speakers who have a comfort level with speaking without a mask to do so. Everyone else indoors here in Cameron Indoor Stadium will keep their masks on, with one exception I will note. As you come across the stage, you will walk across. Instead of shaking hands, you will accept the diploma cover. You will keep that diploma cover. You will keep your mask on throughout that process. You'll have your photo taken as I hand you that diploma cover. You will then exit off of the stage here, and in front of that Duke Fuqua logoed sign, you will get your picture taken without your mask. If you want to be able to wave to people who are online, the camera will be over here, and so as you're coming across the stage, you want to look at that camera and the camera person who is waving to us. So with that and those unusual logistics out of the way, let's get on with the show. And the first part of what we want to do is to recognize the Teaching Award winner for the MMS class. So the Award for Innovation and Excellence in Teaching is based on teaching approachability, continuous improvement, degree of challenge that's created for students, and use of innovation in teaching materials. One award is given for the entire program. This year, I'm extremely pleased to announce that the Excellence in Teaching Award for MMS goes to Hemant Kakkar. As you all know, he taught the Management and Organizations core course, and when we asked students why he was their choice, for this wonderful award. What we heard were things like he was always energetic, he's enthusiastic about the material, he has a great sense of humor, and repeatedly heard that his class pushed students to explore unconscious biases and to think outside the box when it comes to decision making. Therefore, I'm very pleased to present the award for excellence in teaching to Hemant. Hemant, if you could step forward.
Thank you, class of 2021. I'm deeply moved and honored to receive this. But let me say, it's great to see you all in one physical space. For all of us, last year was anything but a typical year. When I learned that I would be teaching you virtually, the challenge for me was not only to structure my course classroom exercises to be compatible with the virtual environment, but for me, the greater challenge was that I felt I was competing for your attention with other stuff on the screen, more interesting stuff, the TikToks of the world, social media, and the internet. And I hope, and I'm assuming, let's say, that this award is an affirmation that I was able to stand my ground against such odds and make myself heard. And I truly hope it's not for the other possibility, which is that I made it easy for you to pursue other stuff on the internet while I was teaching. So jokes aside, what really made teaching special was the commitment, interest, and energy you brought to the class. Despite all the challenges, you persisted, persevered, and if I can say, thrived. This is a celebration of your tenacity, of your ambitions, of your ability to work hard, of your ability to endure and achieve what you set out to. This drive to be successful and willing to brave whatever was thrown at you was obvious to me by the amount of enthusiasm and energy you showed in each and every class, the questions you asked, and the amount of thoughts you shared. And if I was left with any doubt, you made sure there wasn't any when you used the same negotiation and influence principles we learned in class on me to improve your class grades, your final grades, your assignment grades. I cannot be more proud, not because you negotiated with me for the grades, for that I'm probably not, but because it showed how much you cared. It showed how much you wanted to be successful, and it is this desire and spirit of yours that we have gathered to celebrate here. But let me also take a moment and reflect on this other side of this very desire which makes us successful. And since you talked about unconscious bias, let me talk a little bit about this other side of the success as well. This desire which makes us successful and work hard and be tenacious. On the surface, this seems like a benign personal attitude that supposedly benefits those who have won. However, it also changes our thinking in meaningful ways. The initial success we achieve primes us to believe that it's our talent and hard work which have brought us all the laurels. It is indeed true that success is inevitable without talent and hard work. But because we are more privy to the number of hours we have spent honing a particular skill, all the midnight oil that we have burned, we overweigh these factors and tend to think that my success is entirely a reflection of my ability and hard work. And this thinking can be especially counterproductive, not only because it makes us less humble, but especially when we come to judge others. We may tend to think that a certain someone hasn't achieved what he or she should have because they haven't worked hard. And this thinking can be especially perilous when we generalize it and take it to the level of a group. We tend to think a certain group deserves their place in society because they are not hardworking. And in doing so, we tend to justify the social inequities in our society. This thinking is driven by our assumption that the system is meritocratic. If someone is talented or hardworking, they should succeed. However, that is hardly the case. There is a significant, sophisticated, hidden infrastructure that has helped us to be where we are, in addition to our talent and hard work. I can say this about myself, having been born into a family that could afford my early education, which opened the doors later for me later in life and propelled me here. I can safely say this about a number of distinguished colleagues sitting with me on the stage and a number of you in the audience. Many of us won that lottery to live or born in a country, in a city, or in a family that had access to resources, social capital, and social privilege, which further fueled our desire to be successful. And it's precisely this desire to be successful and ensuing triumphs which inadvertently forces us to overlook this silent factor behind our success. The symbolism of where we are, this place, and I'm talking about talent and hard work, is also not lost to me. This place represents the epitome of what talent and hard work can achieve. All these retired jerseys, the championship banners that you see on the rafters is a great example of that. But even this place is a reminder, is an acknowledgement of having opportunities for athletes to apply their talent and hard work at such a high level. So, as your teacher, as your friend, and as my final parting thought, I urge and hope you pay attention to this not so benign side of success and why it can make us less empathetic to others' plight and sometimes even justify the societal inequities. Please note that talent is universal, ability to work hard is universal, but access to opportunities is not. Social privilege is not. We are where we are is as much a reflection of our talent and hard work as much as it is a reflection of our access to opportunities and social privilege. With that, I just want to thank you again, class of 2021, for the wonderful classroom experience and for this award. It was a privilege to be a part of your journey. I wish you nothing short of the very best in all your future endeavors, and I will always be rooting for your success. Thank you, and congratulations again.
Wow. What a difference a year makes, and what a year. So I have a few thoughts for our MMS crew. Much of it will apply to MQM, and then I'll introduce your amazing class speaker. So in reflection, I took a peek at my Outlook calendar from May 2020, remembered where I was because I was in that same place, that same space where I celebrated the last MMS graduation, lonely in a virtual world for many, many months. My calendar a year ago said, in late May, MMS summer planning, which is pretty funny given what I now know about planning during a global pandemic. I had no idea that planning would take on a completely new meaning. We need a heavy dose of resilience, flexibility, empathy, and self-care. So to take you back a year ago, we were first introduced to the ideas of social distancing, flattening the curve, face masks, and hand sanitizer. We were freaked out wearing gloves in grocery stores and left our food outside for a day before bringing it inside. We didn't know or use the words hybrid, densification, de-densification, and had no idea that we'd be doing baseline testing, surveillance testing, or your favorite, the Duke Compact. There was incredible fear, uncertainty, and discomfort. So it feels so much better to be coming to you live, in person, from Cameron Indoor Stadium. So seriously, for those of you in here, just take a breath. There are a couple good breaths there, I appreciate that. Look around you. Take this all in. This is the largest crowd that's been in this building since Duke stomped UNC on March 7th, 2020. I love that love. I actually have goosebumps. Current MMS student and MMS grad, Justin Robinson, had a career night on his senior night, his last game playing in the stadium. It was super special. Shout out to the families that are watching in Wallace Wade or watching from home. We really lucked out. The basketball and football gods pray nicely on us. It's a beautiful day out there. Those of you in here, take a second and think of all of the people, as Bill said earlier, who helped you get here. Your family, friends, mentors, or cheerleaders. While we do hope to have some fun today, we also acknowledge this is still a crazy, scary time out there for many of you. And I know some of your families couldn't actually make it here today. So much love and good health to you and your families. Those of you that aren't here, we're thinking of you and we're sending love. So hopefully over the next hour or two, we can reflect, smile, laugh, maybe cry a little, and celebrate. Honestly, to be here physically with you is part of our why. We want to celebrate. The truth is, you're an amazing class. We couldn't thank you enough for all you've done to make Fuqua better. The entire class of 2021, MMS will graduate, which doesn't happen every year. And huge, huge shout out to the MMS and MQM program and career teams. While you realize it or not, they're your biggest advocates for life. A special shout out to my teammate in the front row, Allie, who has planned, advocated for, replanned, negotiated, renegotiated, planned some more, and pivoted so many times to make today a reality. She did this while answering hundreds of emails and calls. Most of the time she didn't know the answer. She coordinated a volunteer army to help with today. So if I could ask maybe Allie and all the volunteers that are here today to just sort of raise a hand, if you all could give them a round of applause, that'd be great. So on a personal level, you've defined what has been the most disrupted, difficult, challenging, scary, and emotional year of my life. You have done this with courage, sharing your stories in the middle of a crisis of health, a crisis of race and injustice, a crisis of opportunity. You've brought your individual stories, your truths, your reflections, and your growth. For MMS, you were the first humans back in the building for Math Review. Where's the Math Review team? Where are the Math Review folks? First humans in the building. What a special moment. We had to sort through baseline tests, billing access, and hybrid technology. For MMS and MQM, you were the only orientation we delivered in person this year, which is crazy. You're also the biggest orientation and the biggest graduation we've had at Fuqua for this past year. You all got to experience triangle training in Kville. My gut tells me that you enjoyed that a little bit more than the business improv we did on Zoom. For MMS, you are our first group of MMS fellows. So if I could ask the MMS fellows and maybe the MQMA to stand. Classmates, if you could just give them a quick round of applause. They raised their hands in the middle of all this craziness because they wanted to serve you all. On the MMS side, you launched the first ever Fuqua Connect series. We talked about identity, belonging, intersectionality, privilege, and learn through restoration circles. And even in a crazy pandemic, you all had some fun. Bingo, trivia, mystery events, food pickups, drink pickups, and I am honest, the best swag of any program at Fuqua. So I know your journey here has been short, but that was only your journey as a student. You're part of the Duke, Fuqua, and MMS family. I'm so thankful we get to see you in person here today. This will always be your home. So on behalf of all of us on stage, over at Fuqua, everyone that has come before you, and everyone that will come after you, thank you for sharing in this year with all of us. You're amazing. So the best part of this speaking gig for me today is to introduce and have the privilege of introducing your graduation speaker that you selected. He is awesome. So Stephen was born and raised in Bowie, Maryland before moving to Connecticut for college. He attended Yale University, where he graduated with a BA in psychology. While working as an undergraduate, Stephen applied what he was learning in the classroom to solve complex business problems. With his passion for leadership, communication, and relationship building, he returned to Maryland after graduation, where he worked in human resources at the American Clean Power Association as a program coordinator at his former high school, Georgetown Prep. Stephen soon realized that in order to maximize his talents, an MMS degree from Fuqua was the next step. Outside of the classroom, Stephen has fully immersed himself in the Fuqua culture and made the most of his time at Duke. Whether attending MMS events, connecting with the broader Fuqua community through groups like Blimbow, or working as an MMS admissions ambassador, Stephen has found ways to both engage with his fellow Fuquans and build community among his classmates. Stephen's time at Fuqua has allowed him to gain and develop crucial knowledge and skills, as well as form invaluable relationships. If you could welcome your classmate, Stephen, to speak with you all.
Good morning, everyone. I would like to begin by thanking those who have worked especially hard to make the MMS program operate as safely and as smoothly as possible during a particularly difficult year. Thank you, Dean Boulding and Dean Morgan, for keeping Fuqua running. Thank you to the phenomenal admissions team of Julia, Grady, Claire, and Dan. I can honestly say, if it weren't for you all, I don't think I'd be here right now. Thank you to the distinguished faculty who gracefully adapted to this hybrid learning environment and challenge us each day in our pursuits of knowledge and SPs. Well, that is, at least until we realize that Ps also get degrees. To the Career Management Center, thank you for your guidance throughout the year. And I promise I'm gonna get a job. It'll happen, just give me some time. I also want to thank the Fuqua staff for their presence day in and day out on campus. The free coffee and snacks have been a crucial part of my success this year. A special note of gratitude for Allie, Calvin, and Steve for their continual efforts in ensuring that we as students got the most out of our time at Fuqua. I have a lot of pride for this place, but no matter how much pride I have or how much Duke clothing I have on, one thing is for sure. Steve will always find a way to have more. But sincerely, thank you all. And now, to the MMS class of 2021. Congratulations. We made it. It's hard to believe we're graduating right now. Remember all the way back when we first met our teammates at orientation and got to learn one of their 25 fun facts? This would mark the start of quite an adventure together. Think back to that first class on Zoom, awkwardly staring at our screens. Remember the long nights working on case assignments? Or the times we came back from practice, tired, but still managing to find the energy to make it to class in the JB Duke? What about those Saturday MSTEM classes? Or how about working for hours on our final FCCP presentations, just hoping that our clients would like them? It's been a lot of work. With the masks, the 815 classes, the team assignments, the job searching, our time at Fuqua has been jam-packed. It wasn't easy, but we've adjusted to and overcome the many challenges put in front of us. Thankfully, despite the hard times, we've had some good ones too. For those who are in person, remember our MMS bingo night? Being just one space off before someone else yelling bingo right before you? All those Coach K balls that Gotham did not win? And who can forget the food pickups? If you want to guarantee that MMS students read an email, just tell them there will be food. Oh, and I know we'll all miss those good morning texts from that special someone. Duke United testing telling us that we have a required COVID test. Do y'all remember that time when Canvas suddenly stopped working just minutes before our accounting exam? Oh man, what a time it was in that Zoom chat. Oh, by the way, Chris Dutra, if you're watching the live stream, I hope your interview went well. From the game nights, 3-hour midterms, the weekend hikes, the not realizing that your audio was still on during class, and so many other things, we've really made the most of this year. We've grown a lot together. Despite the challenges both in and outside of the classroom, we've adapted, we've persevered, we've learned, we've laughed, and we've made memories. Now, we move forward to the next chapter. This has been a learning experience in more ways than one. Now, we must take what we've learned over the past 5 terms with us. That may include how to work successfully in a diverse team, or how to negotiate effectively with another person, or maybe it's how to deliver a persuasive and engaging talk. But one thing is certain, we've learned to be flexible with change. We are better prepared to adjust to and overcome whatever obstacles, whatever challenges arise in our future careers. So what will you take from this year? How will you adapt? How will you take this experience at Fuqua with you? To the MMS class of 2021, it's been a pleasure being a part of this cohort and an honor to speak with you today. Congratulations, we did it. Thank you.
So thank you, and incredibly well done today, Stephen. I don't know if John Nance or any of the ManCom faculty are out there watching, but I think you got an SP for today. You made note of just how much everybody has contributed to this year, and I want to make sure that we thank you for all your contributions. And so on behalf of everyone at Fuqua, including your class, we have something special that's connected to Cameron, that elusive Coach K ball. We've got one for you, so thank you. So I'm going to let Stephen move to his seat, and then I'd just like to have a few comments to each of you as we get prepared to individually recognize you. All right, thanks for waiting patiently. It's time to recognize each of you as graduates. Your actual diplomas you're going to find are going to be mailed to you in the coming weeks, but we've got a diploma cover that we'll give to you today. We're going to ask each of you to come forward and be recognized and congratulated by Dean Boulding. And we're going to begin with the Master of Management Studies students who are here on the floor. We're going to ask each of you to rise from your row when you're instructed to do so, move forward to the stage, and then as your name is called, accept your diploma cover and be congratulated by Dean Boulding. At this time, I'd like to ask Lisa Thompson, Program Director for Career Services for the MMS program, and Allie McLaren, Assistant Director of the MMS program, to please come forward and read the names of each of our graduating students. All right, first row, if you could make your way up.
Stephen Randolph Irving III. Rahul Agarwal. Benjamin Preston James Beatty. Sohail Atul Bhatt. Lauren Brown. Tuna Shagun. Andrew Carlins. Azaria Kaysen Jackson. Sergio Castillo Curiel. Mai Chen. Amanda Chung. Anita Chiang. Tina Zen Phoebe Chow. Arthur Chris Christakis. Leon Segrange. Alexis Levy Clifford. Jasmine Cobb. Hunter Coleman. Mackenzie Alexis Coles. Leanne Cunningham. Jeffrey D. Vitesta Dar. Stephen John Delicio. Anjali Thinesh. Jack Doran. Elizabeth Avery Ducote. Tara Margareta Fagan. Maxwell Richard Feldman. Sydney Brooke Foster. Tanner Fulkerson. Chase Fulton. Varunram Ganesh. Ziwan Gao. Mary Garavaglia. Grace Garverick. Blake Gerke. Caroline Ann Gordon. Zinni Guo. Robert Foster Harris. Colin David Holter. Miles James Hudzik. Lainey Hull. Thomas Inglima. Keiwei Jian. Kylie Virginia Jordan. Tyler Christopher Joyce. Samuel Logan Kahane. Liam Khan. Zoe Yunhee Kang. Arti Katakineni. Christopher Katrenick. Ankita Kaul. Gautami Contetti. Amulya Kura. Nathan Chai Donker. Michael LaPasha. An Lee. Yanshuo Lee. James Lee. Fei Ling. Molly Lindsay. Ziyi Liu. Harry Lord. Tian Yang Ma. Katie Michaela Mack. Claire Elizabeth Sparks Mackin. Gotham Mahesh. Douglas Carpenter McCoy, Jr. Ana Carolina Mejia. Andrea Metz. Roberto Enrique Mesalem Reyes. Kellen Mara Mitchell. Ava Mohammadi. Rishab Nagy. Christopher Ryan Nemus. Ava Nunick. Ebose Agbebor. Danielle Chukwufunaya Okonta. Yuan Pan. Margot Pellino. Ryan Patel. Rishab Pothar. Hannah Rachel Pridemore. Caroline Lee Puma. Sean Kasim Fern Rafiq. Sanika Bushan Routh. Alexis Rue. Shamia Jalen Rothwell.
Elizabeth Sam. Rishka Samanani. Ayushi Saxena. Alexander John Schwett. Connor Seeks. Cameron Sadiq. Yi Shu. Sopaji. Jimmy Stillerman. Ben Stone. Iman Souley. Sean Taraporwala. Alex Tien. Kiernan Francis Spencer. Chad K. Tyson. Matthew Yukno. Julia Lee Valenti. Michael John Wagner. Benjamin Weinstock. Miles Williams. Jamaric Lataj Woods. Ben Wyatt. Jason Zhuwei Shao. Linhui Shu. Xinyu Shu. Simon Shu. Gloria Yu. Winnie Jaw. Jujun Jaw. William Ju. Wamid Tahir Zunja. And I will now recognize the Master of Management Studies Duke Kunshan University class. Tanzil Aslawi.
I love you.
Brooks Butler. Valencia Jackson. Aaliyah Kalam. Dylan K. Alexia Ma. Allison Nicole Marsh. Christian Mike. Dalton Bennett Nitch. Nikki Ojili. Landon Osteen. Jesse Miles Rosenblatt. And Carly Nicole Zachariah. And I will now read the names of those students from the MMS Foundations of Business who are not in attendance here with us today. Michael Adler, Sara Anastasieska, Nicholas Bauer, Mark Birmingham, Vladislav Blazievsky, Richard Francis Brereton III, Chase Cheek, Mabel Chi, Catherine Murchison Clayton, Jonathan Coffey, Catherine Louise Cordray, William Christopher Davis, Samantha DeBellis, Christopher Joseph Dutra, Junyi Fan, James Gamboa, John Thomas Giles Harris, Jiaowei Gu, Zhonghua Gu, Devery Hamilton, William Kearns Hamilton, Chuanjie Hung, Chris Huang, Margaret Caldwell Humphrey, Xinyi Zhang, Melissa Leung, Charles Tolliver Lindsay IV, Hanshuan Liu, Renwan Liu, So-Yi Liu, Nico Macri, Joseph Timothy Manon, Francisco Alejandro Martinez, Peter Ludwig Matt, Andre Mago, Jasmine Alexis Moreno, Erickson Nichols, Daniel Vincent O'Connell, Kevin James Quigley, Philip Thomas Robertson, Gabrielle Rosenzweig, Dominique Salinas, Walker James Scaglione, Brian Anthony Smith, Nakeem Sovan, Michael James Sowers. James Anthony Sullivan III. Patrick Tape. Matthew Trowbridge. Riley Nicholas Walsh. Tian Tian Wong. Coleman Gregory Williams. Rain Wilson. Zhejian Yao. Amrita Yelapeti. Chushuan Yu. And Austin Zhang. I will now read the names of the Master of Management Studies Duke Kunshan University graduates who are not in attendance with us today. Bernice Chang. James Long. Ola Madamadola. And Graham Smith. Congratulations to the MMS class of 2021. Please give us a brief moment as we get the Master of Quantitative Management class to the floor to begin their portion of the ceremony.
Thank you for the pause as we resume the ceremony now with our spotlight on the Master of Quantitative Management students. And so just as, yes, let's hear it for the MQM students. So just as we gave an award for the outstanding teaching performance in the MMS program, so too we would like to honor the outstanding core teacher in the MQM program. And so I am very, very pleased to announce that the Excellence in Teaching Award for an MQM core class goes to Xiaoming Xu. So as all of you know, Xiaoming teaches the Decision Analytics and Modeling course. And in terms of the comments about why students voted to give Xiaoming this award, the comments were such as, he's knowledgeable and passionate about the material. He demonstrated decision models can be used not only in class, but in everyday life. And we also repeatedly heard that even in a virtual format, he developed a fun and innovative class with great visuals, props, and games, which means something to make the virtual world come to life. So with that, I'm extremely pleased to present the Excellence in Teaching Award to Xiaoming Xu. So if you could.
Dean Boulding, members of the faculty, staff, and above all, graduates. Congratulations on graduating from one of the finest business schools in the world. It is my greatest honor to speak here, and the first thing I want to say is thank you. Thank you all very much for your support and the love of my class. In this pandemic era, it is your cooperation and dedication that make my teaching so effective and enjoyable. I was so gratified to receive all the warmful and encouraging words after class. Your recognition means the world to me. After today's graduation, you will open up a new chapter of your life and embark on a new journey. I know many of you actually are anxious about your future. So let me share with you a small piece of wisdom that I found to be extremely useful in my life. It actually originates from a classic Chinese idiom, 厚积薄发. You need to accumulate. You need to accumulate as much as possible before seeing a change, a phase transition. So about 6 years ago, I actually was one of you attending my PhD ceremony. So my PhD is in electrical and computer engineering. At that time, I had no idea that I would teach in the business school, letting alone giving a speech at the ceremony. So how did it happen? Well, after I finished my PhD thesis, I got fascinated by the beautiful theory and the enormous application of data science to business. So this motivated me to actually go to the Wharton School as a postdoc researcher. And soon later, the business analytics caught on, and I was lucky to be at the forefront of it. My 5-year PhD training in engineering gave me a unique perspective and a competitive edge to investigate data analytics problems. So, of course, you cannot foresee this or see what kind of knowledge will be useful looking forward. You can only realize this when looking backward. So this is like what we learned in the decision tree. Even when the tree is drawn from the beginning to the end, you have to unroll the tree from the back to the end, to the beginning to figure out the optimal decision. So looking forward, you can only actually follow your curiosity and passion, keep acquiring new knowledge and skills, continually search and believe in yourself, even you cannot see a glimpse of hope. Over the years, all these make differences. Of course, these are not easy. All of us inevitably will encounter difficulties and hit bottom. But don't forget, you are not alone. All of us, all the Fuqua family members actually are standing behind you and always ready to help. We all are part of Fuqua family. So our world faces many pressing global challenges: climate change, vaccination, social inequality, poverty, to name a few. As we learned in class, to solve these challenges not only require technology advancement, but business innovation. I wish all of you can carry forward the spirit of Fuqua, Team Fuqua, embrace and tackle these challenges using the foundational knowledge and business intuition that you develop at Fuqua. With your continuous effort, I'm pretty sure you will unlock your potential and see a free transition of your life, a genius in your field, a business leader of tomorrow, and a better version of our world. Thank you all very much.
All right. Jiaming, sincerely, thank you for everything you did for the students. And wait a minute, I get to do that. That's much better. All right, so first off, I would like to recognize the Excellence in Teaching Award winner for our track class. He was unable to make it today, but the winner is Mike Aguilar. So if you could give him a round of applause. I would also like to heap on the praise that everybody else has for Allie McLaren. The blood, sweat, and tears she has put in, it's hard to overstate. So wherever she is right now, Allie, thank you and thank all of us. All right, MQM class of 2021 and MMS class of 2021, friends and family that are watching in Durham and all over the world. Thank you for being here. I don't think it is a stretch at all to say that this was a year of change, uncertainty, crisis, and I want you all to know how deeply proud I am to see you here at the end of a journey that's probably going to go down as one of the most difficult of our collective lives, specifically for MQM. As I was thinking about this moment, I started thinking back 10 months ago when I first met you. First, I realized somehow it's felt like a blink of an eye and a lifetime all at the same time. But as I thought back about it and thought back about program launch, one of the things we told you is that our goal in the program, and I want to get this right, is to help you define and achieve your definition of personal and academic success, which is true. What I didn't tell you is that in order to do that, you're going to have to grow. And growing, whenever it matters, is hard. MQM is challenging in a normal year. This year, where we kick things off by making you learn window functions in 4 weeks, you being here today is downright heroic. But it's exactly that struggle that leads to the most growth. It's you standing at the top of the mountain, bent over with exhaustion, sore in places you didn't even know existed before you started the journey, looking at the horizon and saying, we did this together. Your class experienced this together. You struggled together, you survived together, and you are here today together. You do not get a lot of moments in life to stop, reflect, and just be proud. And the older you get, the fewer they are. You have one right now. Today is one of those moments. I want you to recognize what you have done. I want you to realize what you've earned. I want you to recognize the journey that started decades ago and that got you here today. We are incredibly proud of you, and I wouldn't have wanted to share this journey with any other class, with any other students, and I thank you. With that, allow me to introduce your class speaker. So for those that don't know Junwei Fu, in December, all right, so let's try that a different way. For those of you watching from home, Junwei was born in December of 1992 in Singapore. When he was 14, he took his first job of many at Carl's Jr. By his 18th birthday, he has been, and I want to get this right, salesperson, mascot, which I'd like to know more about, desktop engineer, and waiter. He was also a bartender, which is where multiple conversations with multiple customers in the business district of Singapore sparked the journey that's led him to where he is today. As a first-generation university student, he worked throughout college to support himself. He was even a sergeant in the military where he learned to sleep on less than 5 hours a night, which has served him really well over the last year. Following college, he worked as a research associate, making investment recommendations and trading FX derivatives, and then he came to Fuqua and is now looking forward to an extremely bright career, blending analytics with communication, while also finding opportunities to help students like him, first-generation students with the desire to dream big. Please give a warm round of applause to Junwei Fu, your 2021 MQM class speaker.
Yep. Thank you for the introduction. Are you crazy? America is so dangerous. Why will you leave your job? Are you sure that you'll get a job after your master's? You are too old for this. I don't think you'll be successful even after you complete your master's. Those were the words that people told me when I told them my decision to go to Fuqua for my master's degree. However, I did not hew to their words because I was determined to succeed. In every step of life, we must take risks for every outcome. In my case, the risk I took was to break the cycle of poverty in my family. In your case, it might be different. But I would like to take this opportunity to applaud you for taking the risk, especially during this hectic time. It takes real courage to do whatever you do to get yourself here. Be it from flying from other countries, leaving your jobs, or leaving your comfort zone. To quote Richard Nixon, if you take no risk, you will suffer no defeats. But if you take no risk, you win no victory. I'm confident to say that I believe that the risk you have taken will eventually pay off. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm honored to have the opportunity to represent 150 of us, the Masters of Quantitative Management, class of 2021. Coming from the small island of Singapore, I came to Fuqua with a mindset to learn. In 10 short months, the learning process was truly rewarding as I learned from the faculty, the professor, and most importantly, my classmates. Besides the usual coding knowledge, I learned that you will be treated equally, even if you are a minority. I learned that missing any of you is like missing a piece of the puzzle. I learned that no matter how tough it is, there's always someone to rely on. In the military, we always say, leave no man behind. And the members of Fuqua truly champions it. As we enter this unique situation where the words hybrid learning is a new norm, I had many moments that I truly embraced. I will miss the times where our challenges was to get rejected every day for a month. But it did not hurt my feelings because my wife always supported me. I will miss the time where I took short naps in the afternoon because my secret codes was running for hours. I will miss the time where I was able to wake up 5 minutes before the class because of online classes. And I will miss the time where I have to make some jokes during Professor Natesh's classes so that I can have that attendance score. As much as I like staying on my bed, I would like to thank the MQMA for keeping us off the bed. Thank you for hosting the running event, but to tell the truth, I rented a scooter for the whole ride. Thank you for getting us free boba's tea, but I would love them to be much sweeter. Thank you for getting us free beers, but 6 cans? Not enough. Thank you for hosting a workout session, but I was on my bed. In the last 10 months, many memories were made, even though social distancing restricted us in certain ways. But it was not all about the quality of the memories, but it was the quality of the memories that makes this journey enjoyable. I would like to take this moment to thank the faculty, my classmates, my friends, my family, and my wife for making these 10 months a wonderful journey. 谢谢督课、教授、同學、爸媽和我的老婆。ขอขอบคุณมหาวิทยาลัยดิวก์อาจารย์เพื่อนร่วมคณะเพื่อนๆคุณพ่อคุณแม่และภรรยา For every risk, there's a risk of failure. But remember, failure is never the end of your path. As a first-generation low-income student, I've experienced so many failures in my life. But it was the failures that pushed me harder towards my goal. It's a fact of life that we'll fail at some or many things. But what truly matters is how you feel the failures. If you view them positively, you will find out that they could be opportunities to learn and improve instead. It builds character and strength to become a better version of yourself. As you step into the next step of your life, never let the failures determine who you are, but let the failures shape who you will be. Students, faculties, families, and friends, please join me today to congratulate the Masters of Quantitative Management, class of 2021, on their graduation. Thank you.
So thank you, and obviously well done, Junwei. You're clearly beloved by your classmates here. And on behalf of the school, I'd also like to thank you very much for everything you've done this year, for speaking today. And so fitting with Cameron, we've also got something for you. Coach K basketball. Well, you've waited patiently. It's time to recognize each of you as our new MQM graduates. So, as I mentioned previously, your physical diplomas are going to be mailed to you, and you'll come up here and receive one of the diploma covers. We'd like each of you to come forward and be recognized and congratulated by Dean Bolding. So as we did with the MMS program, we're going to read the names of each of the Master of Quantitative Management graduates. We're going to ask you to rise from your row when instructed and then move forward to the stage. And as your name is called, you'll come across the stage and accept your cover, and congratulations from Dean Bolding. So at this time, I'd like to ask Meredith Bolin, Associate Director, Analytics for the CMC Center, and to please come forward and read the names of all the graduating students.
Jun Wei Fu. Annika Rose Abramson. Evgeny Alexandrov. Chelsea Fortin Alford. Aminat Aloba. Guinevere Amores. Sophia Balerdi. Charbel Bejani. Sarah Christine Bleluk. Ben Bachman.
Yeah, Ben! Yeah, Ben!
Chris Boyle. Ronald H. Bristol III. Peyton Brooks. Yaqiang Cao. Peter Chen. Xinyu Chen. Yanju Chen. Zedong Chen. Thomas Bryson Crimmins. Tongyao Tui. Gregoire Devate. Catherine Deng. Lily Ding. Marlon Dokuto. Amy Flores. Lev Gabriel Freeman. Benjamin Heifel. Lisiman Hua. Yujia Huo. And Yojo Ichiba. Muying Ji. Yichen Jiang. Guan Yu Jin. Yan Jin. Hongin Kim. Kunjal Gosar.
Go Kunjal!
Shuming Gu. Yichi Ha. Aaron King. Stefan Kingsley. Andrew June Lee. Jacob Lee. Yashin Lee. Chanyi. Chanyi Lee. Jiaoji Li. Kevin Grant. Shinru Liang. Zikong Liang. Jiming Liao. Jiawen Alice Lin. Lin Lin. Christopher Lin. Amy Ling. Maya Litvak. Vivian Liu. Weinan Liu. Carrie Liu. Jenna Maratea. Sasha Matovic. Floris Mearshart. Scarlett Mung. Joe Mung. Malika Mohan. Lin Nguyen. Dexter Nguyen. Maria Olmos. Aisha Ongan. Isaac Parker. Isaac Parker. Dylan Patel. Chuling Peng. Noah Clark Phillips. Ryan Gregory Pruss. Helen Q. Jiaxi Chu. Hung Kwan. Michael Roosh. Suleiman Sirhan. Ronak Shah. Daniel Shang. Khazra Sharifi. Danielle Shidiak. Hongmeng Shi. Spencer Shores. Zihao Song. Amelia Jane Steineman. Xinying Sun. Gemma Tang. Wenjing Tang. Yulo Tsai. Erica Tsai. Brian Wong. Mohan Wong. Zayao Wang. Penghe Wei. Junhong Wentan. Joe Worthen. Jiaxin Yang. Idan Wang. Tianru Wang. Wendy Wang. Peileen Wu. Tianhui Wu. Yuki Xu. Tianqi Xie. Chenyan Xu. Wenshu Wu. Jenny Wu. Jasmine Yao. Yuhan Ye. Ryan Young. Tong Yu. Aaron E. Yuen. Chujie Zhang. Defei Zhang. Karen Zhang. Sherry Zhang. Shuo Zhang. Claire Xin Zhang. Andy Zhang. Eddie Zhang. Mia Zhang. Jeffrey Zhao. Yoshi Zhao. Oliver Zhang. Selena Zhou. Jiading Zhu. Chloe Zhu. Yuxin Zong. Andrew Zuckerman. I'll now read the names of the MQM class of 2021 graduates who could not join us in person here today. Sijing Chu. Alexandra Davis. Lexing Daisy Fong. Yiwen Gu. Ben He. Stephen Kwan. Mindy Lee. Stephen Liu. Richard Locarni. Griffin Middleton. Weining Qin. Yuhua Qin. Ru Yang. Meining Xiao. Ruojin Xu. Jim Shui. Yiping Wang. Yujia Wang. Ximin Yu. And Sean Zhou. Congratulations.
Okay, we have now reached the point where everything has been said, but not everybody has said it. And that is, in fact, in the job description of dean, that you are the one who sometimes says everything when it's all been done. But I'm certainly not going to miss this opportunity to speak to all of you one last time as students. Certainly I'll have opportunities to speak to you as graduates. So, none of you chose an easy path when you began this program in the summer of 2020. For some of you, just getting here was incredibly difficult. For all of you, your path at times has been exhausting, grueling, sometimes terrifying, sometimes traumatic. And usually, as we approach graduation, a graduating class will ask me, what makes us unique? And this year, no one had to ask. It's obvious that dealing with COVID has made your class completely unique. But beyond telling you what makes you unique, let me tell you a little bit about what I think makes you special. Because behind the question of what makes us unique is really, do you think that we're something special? Are we better than students you've seen before? And of course, the answer to that question is absolutely yes. Here's what makes you special, which is in this environment that you chose with your eyes wide open, that you were entering into such a complicated time, such a challenging time, it would have been easy for all of you to check out, to turn inward, and absolve yourselves of responsibility for this incredibly important time of your lives. But instead, you doubled down in making sure that you would get the most out of this experience at the worst of times. You turned to each other instead of turning inward, supported one another, and helped others get through this challenge. As a former marketing professor, some of you may recall the basic framework of marketing, which is the 3 C's and the 4 P's. For all of you have permanently redefined the 3 C's and the 4 P's for me. I will forever associate courage, creativity, and caring as the 3 C's that you represent. As for the 4 P's, I will forever associate those with what you've shown us, which is patience, persistence, passion, and positivity. I also want to take just a few minutes to reflect on what your graduation means. And if any of you have bothered to look in a dictionary and see what the meaning of to graduate is, one of the most obscure definitions is that graduating means achieving a higher state of consciousness. All of you have achieved a higher state of consciousness. And I'd like to talk about 4 different ways in which you've achieved this higher state of consciousness. The first is happiness. Now, all of you may find it a bit jarring that I talk about happiness in the face of what has been one of the most miserable years in human history. And to tell you you've achieved a higher state of happiness in the face of all the terrible things that have happened, but it's true. And if you have really good memories, you'll remember what I told you when you joined us, which was I wished all of you happiness. And the thing about happiness is there's happiness when you're having fun. And I don't think anyone had fun in an extended way this year. I hope there were times when you had fun. But it's more than just having fun. Happiness is something that I believe sets you and Fuqua apart. If you look at what other schools are trying to accomplish, they're trying to select people and graduate people who will be the smartest, most talented person in the room. And I'll let you all know that you all got the chance to experience being the smartest person in the room when you were taking classes online. So that's something that we gifted to you. Maybe a gift that you did not appreciate so much. Because in fact, our goal isn't to produce the smartest, most talented person in the room. Our goal is to produce genius. As the poet Yeats said, talent perceives differences, genius, unity. There is lots and lots of talent in the world today that's playing up on differences and making the most of differences in a negative way and increasing the degree of separation and polarization that we experience in the world. Team Fuqua is all about the genius of unlocking the potential that each of us brings. And that's what has led to true rather than fleeting happiness. Because true happiness, as defined by Aristotle, is making full use of your talents along the lines of excellence. And that's what you've achieved because you've been surrounded by people who allowed you to achieve your potential. So yes, you have achieved happiness, even if you weren't always having a lot of fun. But I'm confident that over time, what you will realize is, if you don't know this already, that in this year of misery, you were blessed to spend it with each other and to bring out the best from one another. Which brings me to your next achievement, the next way in which you've achieved a higher state of consciousness, which is friendship. You are surrounded by friends on Team Fuqua. These are friends for now and forever. And just as Aristotle distinguished between fleeting and true happiness, he did the same for friendship, saying that true friendship could only be achieved with good people similar in virtue. And that's what you've experienced with Team Fuqua. You have been surrounded by good people similar in virtue, and that's what will allow you to be friends for a lifetime. The third thing you've achieved is belonging. You all belong to a great team, and it comes with a lifetime membership. What you've done was not a transaction. You've entered into a community for a lifetime. And I think along the lines of some lyrics by the Eagles in the song Hotel California. Occasionally I'll get lyrics stuck in my head. And the lyrics I have stuck in my head from the Hotel California are, you can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave. And that's what it means to be a part of Team Fuqua. You can check out at moments, but you will never, ever leave this community. You will always belong. This will always be your home. And I look forward to the day when we unlock our doors and welcome you back home into your permanent home. Your degree means something for a lifetime, and it means that you have the privileges associated with membership on this team and the responsibilities that go along with being on that team. And that's a fourth thing that I want to talk about, the fourth thing that you've achieved: decency. Of course, all of you knew that it was inevitable that I would talk about decency before we would finish. We chose each and every one of you because we saw decency in you. But what you've accomplished in this past year, you have brought out the decency in each other in extraordinary ways, and that decency is in fact the secret ingredient that enables happiness, friendship, and belonging. The price of admission for lifetime membership in Team Fuqua is decency. Never, ever lose your decency. And so finally, as you embark on the next stage of your life journey, I have 4 requests of you. The first one is, please, please show frequent and deep appreciation for those who got you here, both here with you and those around the world that were a critical part of getting you to this point. It took a team to get to this momentous occasion. Be sure and thank your teammates profusely. The second thing I request of you is do not forget us. Stay connected to us and make a difference in the lives of those who will follow you. Just as people who've been previous graduates have made something of your experience and will connect to you now and forevermore, we hope that you stay connected in a way that you can give back. The third thing that I request is the one that you will probably dismiss entirely, which is you don't have to ask, that's a given. But the request is stay connected to each other. You may think that that will be easy because you love each other so much, because you've meant so much to each other in this ridiculously challenging year. But the fact is, life will come at you hard. It will come at you fast from the moment you leave this campus. And it will be easy to allow for attrition in the relationships that you've developed as you deal with the pressing issues that each and every one of you will confront. Please work at these relationships. Relationships that are worth something are worth investing in. So please continue to invest in each other. And the final request I have is, this time has been the worst of times, but in fact, this is your time. Please, please take advantage of the time that you now have. The world has gone through such terrible crises. People are desperate for the leadership that you're in a position to provide. This is your time to shine and make a difference in the lives of others, just as you have made a difference in the lives of each other, in our lives during your time at Fuqua. And so, as you embark on this journey, I wish for each and every one of you success and significance in what follows. And so finally, I pronounce you graduates of the Master of Quantitative Management program and Master of Management Studies classes of 2021. Congratulations. So, if you can just give us a minute to leave the stage, and then each of you can make an orderly transition out to the plaza and meet up with your family and friends to begin the celebration. Thank you all so much, and again, congratulations.